I'm Sam. Welcome back to my channel. Today I just want to chat about some really practical things you can do to stop all or nothing thinking. This is an idea I had for a video because I have a online course called Dream Habit and I do a live workshop through YouTube Live every week, and we were just talking about all or nothing thinking and how to stop it, and I thought it would be really helpful to put it in a YouTube video because I know that there are so many people that struggle with all or nothing thinking. You probably already know exactly what it is, but a really good example is with food. Say you're starting a new diet and you want to eat really healthy, and then it's someone's birthday and you have a piece of cake. Do you have the piece of cake and go back to your diet? Or do you just then go absolutely nuts and eat everything you can for the rest of the day and then vow to yourself that you will either start again tomorrow or start again on Monday? That's all or nothing thinking, where you're doing something either perfectly or not at all. And all or nothing thinking is something that perfectionists do. A lot of people don't quite understand what perfectionism is. They think it's wanting to be perfect, and I get so many emails from people who are like, before I read your blog I didn't even realize I was a perfectionist. When I started my blog I didn't even realize I was one, but as I was blogging and realized that I was absolutely crippled by fear of judgment and by what other people would think of me, I was absolutely embarrassed. I kept my blog a secret for nearly 2 years because I was just so embarrassed and scared of judgment and rejection from others. And I would publish something and then I would just try and edit it immediately, even once it was published, because I was so scared of being criticized. Perfectionism is really fear of judgment and criticism and rejection. We're often scared of failure and have a lot of self-doubt, but that comes back to we're scared of failing because we're scared of the judgment that will come with that, rather than the failure itself. Oh my god, look at these veins. So veiny. All or nothing thinking is something that perfectionists do in order to protect ourselves from judgment. With the diet, as my example before, we stop trying to even stick to a diet once we've ruined it because we're so scared that if we're not going to be doing it perfectly, then we won't get the results. If you're a perfectionist, you also have a lot of fear around wasting effort and doing things that won't get you results. So we completely abandon it because we're so scared of the judgment that we'll feel when we're doing something imperfectly and we don't get a result. Like, we don't want to look like an idiot. Often perfectionism, it's the fixed mindset, and it comes from, as children we were often praised for being really smart. We limit our world to only those things that we're good at and only those things that we'll succeed in. So we abandon anything as soon as it looks like we might not succeed or people won't think we're still smart. Anyway, as you probably know, this all or nothing thinking can really throw off a habit or a goal. So I'm just going to share a few practical things. I've written down some notes to help you stop being all or nothing. It takes quite a bit of practice, but these are just some tools that have really helped me. The first thing I recommend is creating an effort-based goal. So that's what I'm doing with YouTube. My goal is not to reach a certain number of subscribers. My goal is to publish 4 videos every single week. And that's because if I'm focusing on subscribers, especially with something like YouTube, but really anything, it takes a while to get results. If you're really focused on that result, that can often kick your all or nothing mindset into gear because you'll constantly be evaluating whether or not you're going to reach that result and whether or not you might waste effort and whether you'll look like an idiot. I definitely found with the gym, when I was focused on my appearance, I really struggled to stay consistent because I was constantly like, I should be getting a result, I'm not getting a result, and then I would self-sabotage and not go to the gym because I was so scared of going to the gym and not getting a result. And I get so many emails from my readers saying that they have that exact same mindset too. So when I started focusing on an effort-based goal, which for the gym was a chin-up, because you have to be consistent in order to gain strength. And once I was focused on that goal, then my appearance changed as well because I was being so consistent. But for YouTube, I'm doing 4 videos every single week instead of focusing on a number of subscribers because it takes a while to get results. And if we're focused on only the result, it's really easy to get disheartened in that stage where your motivation's gone but you haven't got any result yet. It happens with healthy eating, with exercise, with any kind of creative endeavor. Normally there's this period at the beginning where you're not getting results but you don't feel motivated. And to get through, it's really important to focus on effort and to be acknowledging yourself when you put the effort in and achieve that goal of putting the effort in, rather than only rewarding yourself when you look a certain way or weigh a certain weight. If you have a results-based goal, as soon as you get near it, you're probably going to push it out even further and you'll never feel any sense of satisfaction. So it's so important to create an effort-based goal. And an effort-based goal is really just the process. So for an effort-based goal for the gym, the goal is to go to the gym 6 times a week, not to be a certain weight or to look a certain way or get a certain measurement. For healthy eating, the effort-based goal could be to have 3 healthy meals per day rather than to lose a certain amount of weight. It's really important to focus on the little day-to-day tasks that you need to do as a goal, because if you do that, you'll be able to stay consistent because you won't get disheartened. And then because you'll be able to stay consistent, you'll get the result. You will get the result by not focusing on it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it works. You have to focus on effort if you have an all or nothing mindset. My second piece of advice is to lower your expectations. I know we've all heard this, but this is something that I used to do, particularly when I was going for a run in the morning. So if you have an all or nothing mindset, you're likely not going to go for a run unless when you're in bed and in the process of waking up, you feel like you'll be able to do a good run, which doesn't end up working out well because it's very rare for most people that you feel like going for a run and that you feel like it's going to be a good run. So if you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to do something really perfectly, which we often are, this lighting, I just don't know what to do with it. Anyway, so if your expectations for yourself are insanely high, and if you have all or nothing thinking, they definitely are, then it's going to be really hard to be able to stay consistent because you're only going to be doing things when you feel like you can meet your insanely high standards. So what I used to do to lower these standards was when I was going for a run, my goal wasn't to go for a 5K run. My goal was to put on my workout clothes and run for 5 minutes. And if at the end of that run, I didn't feel like running anymore, I allowed myself to walk home. But of course, it was so rare that I actually did end up taking myself up on that offer, because by the time I was 5 minutes in, I was already sweaty and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to have a shower anyway, so I may as well just continue. So for going to the gym, the goal isn't to do a good workout or some particular workout. The goal is to just physically go to the gym and do the warm up. And then once you're warmed up, you're like, oh, well, I'm gonna do this workout now, I'm here. And you also are leaving yourself a back door so that if you really don't feel like it, you can go home. And this is really just to help you get there. Then once you're doing that and you'll have the momentum, and then you can start thinking, okay, well, I'm going to go for a 5K run. But until that isn't intimidating to you, it needs to be a lower goal. Also, if you're studying and you're finding that you're only studying when you think you'll have a good study session, my recommendation is to make your goal being focused, doing say 15 minutes of focused study, and that if you're not feeling it after that, you can stop. If you have all or nothing thinking as well, you're probably a huge procrastinator because you'd rather dream about your potential than actually put it to the test. You can live in this fantasy world where if you tried your hardest, then you would achieve your goal. And we do this because we already feel like we're not good enough and we don't want any more evidence that that's the case, and we're really sensitive to judgment and criticism. So one way to pull yourself out of that procrastination when it comes to study is to set the bar a lot lower. Instead of saying, I'm going to do all the exercises from this certain chapter, which will probably seem overwhelming and you'll avoid it, you can just say, I'm going to do 15 minutes of focused study. If I'm not feeling like it, then I can watch Netflix. But often by the time you get yourself set up, you're like, oh, well, I may as well keep going. And my third and final piece of advice for you is something that I talk about in my online course, Dream Habit. And that is the concept of grace days. A grace day is really just when something happens that means you can't actually do the habit you're trying to do. So maybe there's a certain event that comes up, maybe you get injured or sick, something like that where you can't physically do your habit that day. You can say to yourself, oh, today is a grace day, instead of saying to yourself, oh, well, I didn't do my habit today, so it's ruined, because that triggers your all or nothing mindset, and you're either probably going to want to start next Monday or the first of next month or whenever it is that you think you'll have more motivation and be more disciplined. It's really important not to use this as an excuse to procrastinate or an excuse not to do your dream habit. So the way to tell is if you're negotiating with yourself whether or not you should do it, like, should I go for a run today, or should I eat healthy today, or should I wake up early tomorrow? Like, if you're negotiating, it means that both options are possible. So that means it's not the right opportunity for a grace day. But if you're sick and you're like, I literally can't go to the gym today, that's when you can use a grace day to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to give myself this day and start again tomorrow or later on today or whenever it is that you can, instead of being like, oh, well, it's ruined, so I need to wait until the 1st of next month or the new year or 2020, whenever it is you're putting it off until. This is just something you can use so you don't end up labeling your habit or goal as ruined. So they're my 3 tips or pieces of advice to help you stop your all or nothing thinking. I hope you found this video helpful. I'm also going to link below a few of my blog posts and videos about perfectionism and all or nothing thinking. If you can relate to anything that I said in this video, it's likely that those things will help you as well. Also, if you've been feeling like you're alone and you're the only one that thinks this way, you're definitely not. Make sure you also join my Smart 20s community Facebook group. It's filled with over 1,000 women who have exactly this mindset. And if you've really been struggling to stay consistent, make sure to check out my online course, Dream Habit, a 28-day habit bootcamp for perfectionists. I share my step-by-step process for setting up a habit so that it doesn't trigger my all or nothing mindset. I also host a live online workshop every single week so that I can give all my students personal coaching, answer all their questions, and share more of my experiences and all of that sort of thing. So I'll leave a link below for that as well. That's all I have to share for today. I will see you in the next video. Bye.